We're going to talk about 2 to 3 things in this video. The people who kind of have these things down are pretty successful. The people that really have these things down are like turbo uber successful. And the people who don't have any of these things down, they're just not successful at all. Also, before we get into this video, I have nothing to sell you. I don't have any courses. I don't have any coaching. You can go back throughout all of my YouTube videos. I'm just a guy who owns 2 businesses, which is how I actually make my money. You can look at my last video where I talk about my businesses on there. I just make these YouTube videos because I'm tired of people messaging me on Instagram asking me, Jose, how do I become successful? What do I invest in? Or what do I invest in? So I'm just gonna put as much information and jam as much stuff that I can in this video, all for free because I'm such a nice guy. All right, so the thing that I noticed about my entrepreneurial journey is that you don't have to have big brains or actually be really smart to make a lot of money. I graduated college with like a 2.8, 2.9 GPA. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I've gotten to the point where my business generates me tens of thousands of dollars, even upwards of $100,000 per month. I think that successful people, and for the sake of this video, we're gonna just refer to it as financial success. But I think that people who achieve financial success, they almost get dumber as they become more successful. It's pretty weird. And they always talk about why people aren't successful. And when I first got into business, the thing that was really instilled into my head is that you had to work 12 to 16-hour days. And if you didn't make $100,000 per month, you just didn't want it bad enough. And I just don't think that's the case. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you want to be successful, and you probably want it pretty bad because that's how I was. I don't think there's a lack of people wanting to be successful on this planet. What I think there's a lack of is, what are the necessary steps in order that someone needs to take in order to put themselves in a position where they can increase their likelihood of success? And honestly, I think it comes down to not what you actually do. It's kind of more about the things that you just don't do. You know, I'm gonna go off some points here, but the first thing that people don't do is they simply just don't manage their time, which is the first reason you're unsuccessful. Look, you have a total of about 24 hours in a single day. And about 16 of those hours, you're consciously awake, you're active, you're eating, you're working out. I mean, however you spend your time. 8 of those hours, you're kind of sitting down, just working a corporate job, or you're at school or whatever. So that gives you about an additional 8 hours in your day to do those things that I mentioned, which are grocery shopping, eating, all of that. So with your remaining 8 hours, you're basically not able to create enough success where you're able to pivot those remaining 8 hours into them actually being your job. I think we could all agree that when you're starting a business, you're gonna have to put a lot of time and effort into it. And the more time you can put into your business, the quicker you can start seeing success and the more money that you can make. And the first reason why people cannot be successful is because they don't know what to do with these additional 8 hours. They don't know how to sacrifice these 8 hours to the point where they can put those additional 8 hours into building something that they own that's actually theirs. Because remember, in a traditional work environment, you don't get paid until you actually show up or you put in those 8 hours of work or whatever. It's a little bit different when you own a business, assets, or investments. You basically need to protect the hell out of your time outside of work. And what I mean by that is eliminate all these stupid little distractions in your life. They're going to eat up all of your time, and you're not going to be able to put that time into something that can generate you money so you don't have to keep working a job. So the first tip I can give you is literally just move. That's exactly what I did after I graduated college. After I graduated college, I moved back to my hometown, and immediately a week after, I left. If you move to a place where there's no family, no friends, and no distractions, you kind of have no other choice but just to sit at your desk with your computer and work on your business all day long, which is exactly what I do. Next thing you need to do is stop watching Netflix and get rid of all your hobbies. You basically need to make it that when you're done working your job, you get home and you spend your entire time working on your business. You have no TV, no friends, and you're probably gonna have to quit going to the gym for a while. It honestly does suck. And is this considered a happy life? No. But is the life that you're living right now considered happy? Probably not. So you're gonna have to do some things that you don't want to for a while, at least until you kind of get to that point, right? So basically the first reason why people aren't successful is because they get off of work, they have their friends blowing up their phone, asking them to hang out, they have their girlfriend screaming at them, and they can't take advantage of the little time that they actually have. When I was first building my business, I would sit in the back of my internship office, I would skip class, and I would even skip going to the gym just to have a little bit more time to put an additional 2 to 3 hours of deep work into my business. Okay, so second thing, you need to be super consistent. You need to spend about 2 to 3 hours a day working on your business and do it religiously. It doesn't require you working 12 to 16-hour days like this hustle culture shit or what Alex Hormozy says to do. No, that's literally crazy. So most people have about 8 hours of free time every single day. The problem is that they don't know how to sit down and concentrate on a task for 2 to 3 hours at a time. I could literally sit here and read this book uninterrupted for 2 hours a day, and it's great practice. I'd also recommend doing this along with meditation because it helps you zone in and focus, but I don't want to get too off topic. That's literally a completely other video. But what happens is that people will start working on something and they'll get up to grab a quick snack and then they'll get back to work and then they'll pick up their phone and then an idea pops into their head and they'll check their phone on social media or they'll send a quick email. So when people actually sit down to get work done, they really only get about 15 minutes of productivity during that sit down session, which is a terrible use of time. You have to understand that it's going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes to really get into that zone. Your brain is just kind of getting in the groove of things. And what you'll notice after that 15 to 20 minute period is that your work output skyrockets and then you can sit down and be zoned in for like 2 to 4 hours because that's what happens to me. So like I said, what happens is that people are constantly acting on every little thought that pops into their head. They'll get up and grab a snack or they'll check their phone and they keep resetting that 15-minute period that it takes for you to actually get into the zone to become extremely productive. I literally owe my life to this book and it's called Deep Work. So for the 1% of you guys that are actually going to take the time to go on Amazon, buy this book, and then actually read it, I would extremely recommend it. It's gonna change your life because it's done so for mine. So what you actually need to do is learn how to sit down in a room, and that's why I said meditation is so important. But you need to learn how to sit down in a room and not do anything. That involves getting rid of your phone, putting it in another room. I literally live in an apartment where we don't have a TV, we don't have a couch. There is literally nothing for me to do. I just have this desk, my mattress, and my computer. I literally get so bored that my brain is just like, there's literally nothing else to do besides sit here for 4 to 5 hours, so I might as well just work on this business thing. Doing this allows you to have a solid 2 to 3 hours per day to get work done. And remember, you need to do it consistently, so that means every single day. And finally, for the last part of this equation, all you need to do is just focus on one single thing. Do everything I said in this video and then put all that energy into one thing. Stop trying to do multiple things. It doesn't work. Look, so success is exponential. And until you're putting about 80 to 90% of effort, you're really not going to see any results. See, where people mess up is that they start a business and they get like so excited thinking about all the money they can make. And then they're kind of like get stuck because they can't break this barrier and they get super depressed because it's going to be a lot more work than they thought. The people that actually become really successful and push past this barrier, suddenly something kind of magical happens when you do that. Suddenly your level of success literally just explodes at 90% effort. And this is exactly how you get rewarded for your time. Unfortunately, most people don't know how to get rewarded for their time because they don't know how to manage it. They're not consistent with it. And when they do have an extra amount of time, they literally do nothing with it, but sit there and complain about why they don't have any money. But when you're actually able to fix this, just make sure you stick to one thing. People always stay in this layer in the beginning portion, and they never put in enough effort to where it gets to the point where their success just goes absolutely bonkers off of the charts. I'm talking about like Bitcoin going from 10 cents to $100,000, literally that level of success. This is literally why so few people are successful. It's not because they don't want it. It's not because they're stupid and only a certain smart select few are able to be successful. That's literally what arrogant idiots on the internet will tell everyone though. So what tends to happen is that people never get to this point of 90% of effort. And the only way to put 90% of effort in order to get to this explosion point is to maximize the very little few time that you have and then direct that 90% of effort and time into one business, not multiple things, just one single thing. And unfortunately, this is the reality for most normal people. And what I mean by most normal people are people who are stuck in this typical life situation where they wake up, they go to their job or they go to school and they get home and they have to do all of these chores. They go to sleep and they wake up and do it again. And they wake up and do the same things all over again the next day. That's a typical life situation. And if you're stuck in this typical life situation, it moves you and it pushes you in this rat race or cycle unless you really understand what you're in and you make a conscious effort to like pull yourself out of it. And until you're actually able to put in these 10 to 12 hours of work per day, you're not going to see tremendous results. You'll probably see like $5,000 to $10,000 a month type results, which is pretty good for most people. Honestly, $10,000 a month is great for most people. But until you actually get to that point where you're fortunate enough to be in that special position to be able to put in 10 hours a day, you're literally going to see success on freaking steroids. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to post more businessy stuff, book recommendations, life updates, things like that. If you want to see more business or life updates, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of that stuff on there. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.